One, two, three, four. So before I start dismantling the bottom bracket, I just want to show you the difference between the old and the new cog. And yeah, obviously the old one was bigger, 22 teeth. So the new one is smaller, 20 teeth. But it's also not as wide, not as thick. There's, yeah, 3/16 of an inch difference, I would say. Try to line it up on one side at least. So I don't know what's going to be the relation of that when I put it back on the rear wheel, on the axle, because it's not the same depth. This is not the same height as this. This original one had in the bottom of the freewheel ratchet assembly there was those two millimeters spacers. So it was like that. So I don't know if I'll need this. The only other guy I've seen do it didn't use them, but he didn't have the same exact district. It was already a few versions ahead of it. So I don't know. I suppose it's going to be trial and error. So I'll put this in one of my trusty ready meal container, just so I have it on hand and I can compare and do some tests. And yeah, let's try to remove the crank arms and the bottom bracket. So to begin with, I'm going to use a little bit of WD-40 just to make sure it comes as smoothly as possible. Yeah, I don't know if I'll leave the bike mounted on the horizontal tube. I might have to change that. So this should go just counterclockwise. Right. Yeah, much easier like that. No way I could have done this on the rack. So now it's time to remove the crank arm. So we need a crank puller for that. Just before I start, I'm going to use a little bit of grease so it doesn't seize up. I already put some WD-40 inside the mech. Right here. Yeah, that's... Ooh. Okay, I already have an idea what we're up against. So I remove a bit of that. Put a little bit of grease. Put some on the puller's threads. Something like that. You can always see metal shards. And yeah. Yeah, there's always always something that's like rubbing or clicking. And yeah, I should have shown you this before. Let me put the microphone as close as I can. Try to record this, the sound that I'm hearing. Hear that? Let's do it again. It's like something made of plastic is crushing. And I have a suspect for that. Should have shown you that before. Let me just move in a little bit higher. Yeah. I'll show it from a distance. It's the principle. See those two screws for the water bottle cages? Well, one is okay. This one turns indefinitely. So the anchor there where it's supposed to screw in is broken. Yeah, probably, well, certainly from the other side. So what I'm thinking is that when this was over tightened, the seal broke, and probably it's probably like the rear side of a rivet, most likely. There has to be a collar. So I'm thinking when this was overscrewed and broke, it went down the tube, and it's probably rubbing against something. But that's just a theory. You know me with my theories. So yeah, I'm gonna screw this on, okay? The bottom bracket extractor, or the crank extractor, if you will. This guy here, okay? But yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. Let's remove it. Okay, there's only one way this goes, and it's clockwise. So let's move it completely free so it doesn't run against anything. Start inserting it. Yeah, I'm going to get an open wrench. Okay. Now we should be able to crank this enough to start pulling the crank. Okay. I'm sure I'll have to put the bike down again. It's way too tight. I'm going to remove it and try putting WD-40, letting it soak. I've been doing so far. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I managed to remove one crank arm, and I'm not kidding you. I had to put the bike down and use my feet. Yeah. And I weigh 200 pounds. So yeah, it's loose. I just have to remove this. So, okay guys, I managed to loosen the crank puller tool. Wasn't easy. I had to use the floor again. Yeah, just to have some leverage. I don't know how a normal guy can just do it with the strength of his arms. You don't know. So I'm going to turn the bike around, remove the crank arm on the non-drive side. We're going to put everything in the same plastic container so I don't mix it up. So this is the non-drive side. Oh, yeah, that one was easy. That's crazy compared to the other one. Yeah, I think the other one was completely seized up. This is just crazy. Much easier on the non-drive side. So now I'm going to work on the bottom bracket per se. One is clockwise, the other one is counterclockwise. I believe the non-drive is counterclockwise. Yeah, I'll just clean it a bit, and we'll try that. Yeah, better get a brush. Barely fits in. What? Okay. It's completely loose. That can't be right. Although it's only to keep the preload tube in place. Doesn't hold the crank. The bolt does. Yeah. Pretty cruddy. We'll turn it around, do the other side. So we're back on the drive side. Gonna do the same thing. Wow. Well, you know. It's loose too. Maybe it's supposed to go like that. I don't know. Okay. I'm just going to put this aside for the time being, okay? Remember that the bearing is still on the drive side. Yeah. Not the bearing, but the lock ring is still on the drive side. And before we do anything else, let's inspect the housing. So I don't know if you'll be able to see much on camera, but yeah, I think I see stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Although the housing is not supposed to be turning per se. Let me grab a cotton swab. Think something major. It seems to be just dried up grease, but it has to be cleaned. Yeah. Yeah. That's vintage Radio Cafe clean. Let me tell you that. Look at the threads now. They're pretty incredible. See what I mean, guys? Okay, that's to my liking. Now, let's go do the all the other parts. Yeah, the housing for the bearing and all that. So we're back on the bench. It's it's past midnight. So just before going to bed, I'm gonna clean this, clean the all the housing and the shaft for the bearing, because I can't go inside the bearing per se. Then I'll have to make a decision, and I have a pretty good idea already. I'm just gonna take most of the crud out so I can at least handle them. It's yeah, needless to say, they are extremely dirty. Yeah, let me just go wide for a second. Yeah, so you see what I'm doing. Let's do it again. Let's use a rag this time. Pretty cruddy. Oh, I need my cotton swabs. Not even sure I'll be able to read what it says. BB. Okay, the brand is RPM BB7420 BC13. That must be the part number. Yeah. Wow. MR036. MR036, whatever that means. Yeah. This is what it's going to be moving. I can hear the bearings knocking against each other, so this one's not so bad. This is the drive side, the one that was the most dirty. Yeah, that's the noisy one. Not exactly sure which bearing to get. What I know is that to remove them, we need some kind of a bearing puller or a vise. You can do it by hand, but it's a hell of a job. You can see the bubbles. I'm trying to get the bubbles out. But you know what? If I peel it off and I put some new one, I'll probably just remove all the crap that's there. Remove this. Fuck. Can't believe what a ripoff. Don't buy this. I'll put a link in the description so you avoid buying it.